My name is Nathan Wigfield. I'm a director of religious education at St. Raphael's Roman Catholic Church in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm married to my wife Bethany. We just adopted our daughter Ava Marie. I grew up in a strong evangelical Christian home. My parents were very involved in the church. They were my youth leaders. I met my wife Bethany very early on, and we started dating in high school. We were in the same youth group. We went to church together. Both families were very strong in the faith, very much encouraged personal relationship with Christ from day one. And it's something that was very important for us as we grew up, is just having that relationship with Christ, doing daily devotions, reading the scriptures. Growing up in a strong evangelical community, I would say I was guarded against kind of an anti-Catholicism. However, there was a sense that Catholics were very... I had family who were Catholics, but there was a sense that Catholics were very ritualistic. They just kind of went through the motions. They didn't have a personal relationship with Christ. They didn't know why they did the things that they did. And yet, as my mother, a former Catholic, having family members that were Catholic, still, she had a love in her heart for parts of the Catholic faith. And one of the things that she really missed was the reverence that was shown around our Lord's Passion over the course of Lent and Easter. And so I remember as a young child, she would take my sister and my younger brother, and we would go to Good Friday service to venerate the cross. And I remember that from very early on, that it was this moment where we walked into church and it was clearly a different environment. Something different was happening. It was very somber. It was inviting us to reflect deeply upon the passion of the Lord. And I remember even marching up, as a young kid, and kissing the cross, and being this most visceral moment in my life in terms of worship that I had yet experienced to that point. I think after that, I began to ask deeper questions with regards to the teachings of the church. I knew enough with regards to the Catholic Church that the teachings were considered to be infallible, that the tradition had carried weight, it carried authority. And so I wanted to begin to dive into those teachings. I wanted to begin to discern, is this something that is congruent with what I believe? Is this something that I'm willing to give my life to, or feel called to give my life to? I realized that I had to make a decision in faith. At every turn, I was finding a faith that was beautiful, that was grand, that was calling me to a deeper life of holiness, that was filled with joy, that was calling me to a total abandonment to the Lord. And it was something that was enlarging my heart. I mean, my heart was expanding and wanted to receive more and more and more and more. And so my quest to stump the Catholic Church, find that point where I said, I can't do that, turned into a desire to give my life over to it, give my life over to her and to our Lord. And so I think that was what that kind of looked like after that moment in the oratory. I came to this point where I realized that this is what the Lord was calling me to, but it did not exclude faith. It was something that He was calling me to place myself in His hands and to trust in Him. Bishop Zubik here in Pittsburgh, he loves to use lots of oil, lots of chrism oil for his confirmations. So as I came forward to receive the Holy Chrism, I remember him just smearing the oil on my forehead, and it just began to trickle down. Just trickle down, like in the Psalms, it says, the oil running down the beard of Aaron. I didn't have a beard at the time, but man, it was just running down, and it was an oil of joy. It was an oil of gladness, and the smells, obviously, but just even feeling that run, and it kind of takes me back to that moment where my mother would take us into church on Good Friday, that most visceral, kind of incarnate moment of kissing the wood of the cross. Kissing the wood of the cross. Here I was, not kissing the wood of the cross, but tasting and feeling and experiencing the oil of gladness that our Lord provided. And it was just at that moment, the joy was nothing else that I had ever experienced. It was an enduring joy. It was something that my heart was not worthy of, and yet it was something that my heart was so glad to receive. And I couldn't stop smiling from that moment forward. It was just this great smile on my face. And I had non-Catholic family there. I had non-Catholic family there, who loved me, who supported me, who were with me, who maybe didn't understand what was going on. And I remember after the service, they coming up and they just see me and they say, "I've never seen such a big smile on your face," and I think I was fitting because it was the most joyful moment that I had experienced in my life.